Don't be dubious. Be dubious and you might win the game. Dubious. What is it about? What we think of it? Coming up.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University. Welcome back to our Should You Play, where we do overview of the game and then share our thoughts about what we think of the game. And then you decide whether it is the game for you or not.
Yes.
And this time we have Dubious. So Dubious is a 2022 release by Hobby World.
Yes.
So this is slightly prototype copy. I think some of the words and things are still prototype, so it's not final.
Yep.
So what is it, Tarrant?
So this is it's a thinky party game. I guess it is
Storytelling.
It's a little bit of a story element, and Hobby World was the company that brought us Spyfall and
Correct.
Spyfall 2.
And Deranged,
and
which we love.
And Deranged, and it's got and what was the other one? They changed the name, but it was SpyCon.
SpyCon, I think, from
point.
yeah.
So this is in a similar vein to those games. Similar to Spyfall and things. So you've got to think through how you're going to present your character without being too obvious about it. That's really the hook of the game, as it was for those other ones.
Yeah.
And this does it in a different way to those other two.
And it does in a way almost like Dixit, where you want to be clear but not that clear that everyone gets it.
Yeah. So the way the game will work is there are 14 occupations and 14 secrets, and those come on these cards. And each player is secretly dealt 2 of them.
Each?
And 2 of each, yes. And you choose one that's going to be you and one that's not. So out of these, the player could be a paramedic shopaholic, for example, and is not a political activist animal trainer. And this just gives you some choice. It also means that you know a couple of cards that nobody else is.
And you can sort of like trying to be a little bit more dubious.
That's true. So you'll know these. You'll write them up here. So I would say, I am a paramedic. I'm not a political activist.
Yep. And
sorry, I'm not an animal trainer.
Sorry.
Those are both jobs. You apologies for my handwriting.
Wasn't that your
I was an electrician.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, let me do that. So you'll do that, and that's the setup, and all of what you're writing here is behind a screen. So you'll have handy dandy screen to keep all of this secret.
And you actually have game reference as well in here, and you put this because there are 3 different eras. You put the eras here. There's a paper clip that you can clip it there.
Yep. Okay, so after everyone has done that, it's now time for questions. And so you'll draw 5 questions through the game. And there are 2 types of questions. There are appearance questions and response or reaction types questions. So let's say we did this. What have you been rewarded for?
So you actually have 5 of these drawn at the start, and then you just draw that with the recommended settings, which one's first.
Yep. So you would draw this, what have you been rewarded for? And then all players try to come up with an answer that their character, with their secret, would have been rewarded for. And once all players have done that, everyone will read out their answers. And everyone then takes a moment to think, all right, well, what might my opponent be?
Yeah.
And the normal way to do this is you've got this section for all the other opponents, and you can either try to jot down their answers, or you can jot down
numbers.
Jot down the numbers for what you think matches what they said, because you'll get a lot of information. So it can help to just put the numbers down.
So with these questions, for example, are you a paramedic? If you say, what have you been rewarded for? I am known for saving lives. If you say that, I think that would be very obvious, considering what other occupations there are.
Yes.
What you are, because, well, detective technically can save lives as well, But paramedic is mostly the one that saves lives.
Paramedic's the main one here who's going to have saved a life.
So is it a
fitness instructor may indirectly think they've saved
So
life.
if you're paramedic, is it wise to say that you've been rewarded for saving lives? It's probably too obvious. But then again, if you're too fake, no one will get it, and then you'll get no points.
So maybe you could say something about a health award, because that could lead to the fitness instructor,
Yes.
influencer perhaps.
Correct.
There's a few options there. So you'll go, basically, that's the game. You'll go through the 5 questions and you'll come up with your answer, you'll share it, and then everyone tries to guess what your 2 things are. And at the end of the game,
5 rounds.
5 rounds, everyone
5 rounds.
everyone guesses everyone else.
Give me the screen, please. Thank you.
Everyone guesses everyone else, and then you get a
5.
point. You get a point for each other person's, for each thing you guess correctly. You get a point for each person who guesses yours correctly, unless everyone gets it correctly, in which case you get nothing.
Yeah.
Or unless nobody guesses it correctly, in which case everyone else gets an extra point. So you want somewhere between no one and everyone, not including those, to guess your things correctly. And that's where we say it has that Dixit sort of thing going on.
Yes, Dixit is also very encourage you to be creative for the things that you do. Well, in a different way. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the game. There are 3 different eras.
Yeah.
So what we're showing here is the modern occupations.
Correct.
There is a Victorian era.
Yeah.
Which is
and
here.
It's like all the one. It's a fantasy or something like that.
Yep,
so
this
executioner,
one.
bard, guard, like.
This one is the
match.
fantasy one. So you've got a fantasy setting, so where you could be a bard who turned their brother into a sheep, for example.
Nice.
And then we've got a Victorian setting here.
Yeah.
And each of those, there's also a couple of cards that you shuffle into the question deck specific to the era.
Yeah.
Some,
whether you draw it or
some
not.
questions wouldn't make sense in the other context.
Yeah.
So there's the game. What do you think?
I love it. I do love Dixit. I love that sort of game. I do love storytelling. I'm pretty confident that I say that I like that better than you. It plays 3 to 6 players, so it kind of like a party game. I love the creativeness that you are. Okay, this you're trying to be this, and you don't want to be too obvious like that tug of war. How much information you should reveal, and the secret one is very interesting as well. You have to reveal what your secret is, and fitting on all of those questions. I think this is very smart. That sort of game I like. The only one thing, if I can say, by the end of the game, I probably sometimes I could forget. I could have probably jotted down the answers, but that might actually just take a lot of downtimes. But at the end of the game, I'll probably forget like who's saying what. So maybe the next time I'm gonna try this variant. It might not. It's probably it is a reason why it's like that. Yep. But what if everyone, like all the 5 questions I reveal at the start, everyone jots down all the answers, and there will be like a big downtime, obviously, but everyone writes everything at once at least, and then a big reveal, and then everyone tells all of their 5 answers. So you remember, and then you just like calculate it then, there and then. I don't know.
And that's that's a categories pacing essentially. You do all your work and then you check the score at the end, and it's you don't see that often, I think, in modern games, but it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I don't know. I haven't tried it. It might actually kind of like screw some mechanics over. It might break the game. I don't know, because you'd be able to see all of them, and then you'd be able to plan rather than keep revealing one at a time. So that might be the game breaker or whatever.
Yeah. You could reveal them one at a time and house rule that you're not allowed to go back and change your answers, maybe.
Oh yeah,
like
we'll see. But I still enjoy it regardless of that, maybe. But I'm going to try that, maybe not. Regardless, I do enjoy it.
From my side, I think what I'll say for our last play was that it was quite slow.
Yeah.
But I'm going to blame
it's like 6 of us.
It was 6 players, and I'm going to blame the environment more than I'm going to blame the game, because I think we played it slowly, and I think we we wrote our answers and didn't speed each other up and weren't on the ball.
We also
making things happen.
This is like the first meetup ever after a while, and we kind of like talk about our lives as well in between.
Yeah, it was in a pub, so it wasn't it wasn't the best setup for it.
Yes.
I think if I compare this to Hobby World's other be vague character guessing
But not
games,
yeah.
I've never liked Spyfall, and I've never really seen it go that well. Because unless you've got people who can think quickly on their feet, it gets bogged down in you got a 10-minute time limit and people trying to come up with vague questions, and you get like you get like 10 questions out in 10 minutes, and it just doesn't work.
Okay.
SpyCon, and again, I can't remember what they changed the name of that
game,
and I can't remember what they changed it to. That was a bit more like this one in pacing, where you sit down and you're sort of thinking through, all right, what clues do I give? And I think that's what it makes this a more approachable game than Spyfall, and it gives you there's a lot of flexibility to have fun with it.
Oh yeah.
I think what we found was that it was a lot. We were all trying to be very vague.
Too vague.
And we were all way too vague, and
no one guessed.
And hardly anyone guessed anything. I got to the end and thought, you know what? You would have to mess up completely to actually have everyone guess you correctly. So you don't have to be that vague. You could even be completely obvious on a couple of questions, and then just throw a completely wrong answer in on question 5, and if one person second guesses it, then they'll. So, but that's all if you're playing to win. This is not the sort of game you play to win. I enjoy this sort of game to come up with something obscure and then enjoy explaining at the end why it makes sense to me and why it should make sense to
you. You like
because that's how I play Dixit, and that's how I play all this. Yeah,
it's true. It's like it's absolutely true.
Yeah, I was playing. I was an electrician drug addict. Yeah. And when the question came, "What footwear are you wearing?" I said, "One rubber gumboot."
I'm like, what? That is so weird. Like, what is that?
And it's because I'm wearing rubber gumboots to insulate myself from the ground, like an electrician, which is vague enough because only people who know trades will know that sort of thing. And then I only have one of them because I've sold the other one to fuel my habit. And that's the kind of
smart.
And so I get my enjoyment from forming that clue, even if it's way too vague for anyone else to get.
But somebody got it, I think.
I think someone got it from
Henry got
he
it.
got it from my first clue, which was what does your hair look like? And it was unkempt and sticking out. And I think I started with unkempt and standing on end, but I just thought that would be too obvious with the electricity.
I think that was good too. That was good too. And then now that it's one of those that when I knew the answer, I thought, that's what it is. Okay, otherwise like what?
So am I enjoying the game, or am I just enjoying being obscure? I'm probably just enjoying being obscure.
You do enjoy the game. You're pretty good at it as well.
I think I came.
And uncam could be, I don't know, graphic designer maybe. Or software developer is uncam as well because.
Could be the animal trainer could be unkempt from being attacked by animals, although one of the other players said they had scars all over.
That's and I guess that right. Yeah. Construction worker, also unkempt.
It's within a. Pardon me. It was within a helmet, you know.
But then again, you're gonna have to see you write down possible. Okay, Tarrant might be this, but then other players say something. Oh, hang on, maybe that person. You just like write down the possibilities and it starts crossing off, and make sure that at the end of the game you don't do it double. See, this actually brings a lot of, kind of like a lot of conversation to the table. I know that not everybody likes telling stories and creating stories, but it's always something that I enjoy. More than you.
Yeah, and you can storytell this more than I did. I crafted my obscure answer and told it in a very bland way. A lot of the other people around the table were more storytelling about it, and it works in both ways. I think, I think the only downside with the game is that it does take a while to get to the point that you start revealing answers and talking about how things went. You don't get that more instant gratification that you get with a Dixit or something like that. After each round, you're like, no, I did it because of this tiny speck in the corner, and You were supposed to interpret this thing that only I understand. And you get that, but you have to wait till the end to get that.
Yeah. But, overall, I'll definitely play this again. I'll bring it to meet up to people that would love this type of game.
Yep.
Definitely. Like, I'll be like, start recruiting. Do you want to play with me? I don't think this is on anything on Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator, but they're thinking about it.
Yep.
So if that's the case, I think it'll be a good play as well.
Yeah, and I think it's a good play it right, and it's a good icebreaker at a
meetup.
At a meetup as well.
Yeah, a board game meetup, which start happening again in Melbourne. Yes.
Yes. Play it too much like gamers, and you'll spend like 2 hours crafting things.
Yeah, actually, true. Yeah, you're gonna have to play it lightly and just like not like gamers fully, like full on whatever.
But again, the same can be said for any game like this, and certainly Hobby World's other vague occupation guessing games. They all have that same sort of thing.
Yeah. So if you like Spyfall, you probably like this one, Spyfall, Spycon.
And if Spyfall's too fast paced for you, this is definitely for you.
Yes, and if you kind of like feel like I can't really lie and bluff, this is probably it's better.
Yes.
Because I think you probably like this one than Spyfall, because you be like so nervous. I'm not. Blah 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 blah. Spyfall is about the game about deception, or everybody. By the way, everyone knows what location or what's the location that is, and then except one person, the spy. Right. So it's nervous to be the spy.
Yes.
It's nerve-wracking to be the spy. Like this one is okay.
They really need shepherd among these occupations, because you can't mention, if you mention a sheep, this one becomes rare. There's a stableman. I guess a stableman could have something to do with a sheep. Right. Thinking through my strategies for next time.
Okay, that's actually true. Bye-bye now.
Right. There's a necromancer. They do things with sheep sometimes.
What?
Like they, sacrifice a sheep to bring a person back to life.
That's cultists, no?
Necromancer's a subclass of...
No.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you do sheep and...
But that would be how I would be vague. I would probably tell you that my spell had something to do with
sheep.
With sheep sacrifice.
Yeah, but it will be like the secrets as well. Anyways,
yeah, but if I was a necromancer who was,
possessed by a demon,
then
likes to sleep in a coffin, that would be like a match one. See, I told you. The Stella Tarrant definitely will play again with me, and he'll probably be a necromancer. A freaking rider, how cool is that? And how do you say? This is like open up this creativity in my brain that I would enjoy. That's why I love it. I'm stand by it.
Yep.
So that's it. So what do you think of it? Have you played anything like this? Have you played Spyfall? I don't know if you might have actually heard of it. You might have played it. Let us know in the comments. And do you think you'll play this with me? Online, if it ever has that, digital version of it. Please write in the comments. And that's basically it. We do, review like this. We do have to play, my short and sweet. And if you enjoy this and find this useful, it'll be very helpful. If you can, please hit that like button and subscribe to us if you haven't already done so. I'm also on Instagram, so find me there. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Is that it, Darren?
That's it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.